the orders. All right. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for coming together and taking time to recognize a phenomenal soldier this morning. Command Sergeant Major Stanley, who I know the fact that you're here, you are well aware of her numerous achievements and accomplishments and investments in our Army over the last 25 years and 4 months by the time retirement hits. But she is a versatile leader who has excelled at TRADOC as a drill sergeant. She's been in Force Comm, shoulder to shoulder with our soldiers downrange and back here in Garrison and here in MedComm, where her investment in the development of the next generation helps in the bittersweet nature of today. Because while she has some joy, understandably, of moving on to the next phase, that remorse that some of us feel when we have to leave the uniform behind, she knows that the legacy that she is leaving behind will extend for years and years to come because of the way she has invested in soldiers. She has that calm but clear demeanor that gets things done while ensuring that those around her know that she is truly invested in them and invested in the mission. And so before we award this fantastic soldier, I want to give Command Sergeant Major Bouier, who's personally served with Sergeant Major Stanley a year or two, to have a few words to say.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. A bittersweet day, not because of the change of responsibility, because she's also retiring on us. Sergeant Major Stanley and I do go back to our Fort Hood days, along with Sergeant Major Kortner's here with us. I'm going to say a lot of things don't always come positive out of Fort Hood, but I can tell you some of your senior female SAR majors, and I can list about 6 of them, between class 65 and 66 came out of Fort Hood. So they do produce awesome leaders, awesome female leaders. And so I'm gonna give a shout out to that. She will be missed dearly. Great battle buddy, great brigade sergeant major. She has served in all capacities. And just listening last night at the dinner table to everyone talk about her, what she's done, and do you have to leave? Do you have to go? Can you stay? That right there to a sergeant major means more to you than anything else in the world. Is when can someone say, do you want to stay? Can you stay? You know your mission has been complete and successful. And Sergeant Major Stanley, you know, through this time here at Womack and through her career has definitely made sure that mission success happened no matter where she was, who she touched, whether it was military, whether it was civilians, whether it was beneficiary dependents. And for that, we appreciate all that you do. And everything that you're going to do in your retirement. And someday I will say hi to you in San Antonio when I finally make that brave decision that all my battle buddies are doing. They're like looking at me like, when are you going to do it? But, you know, I got a little bit more to give, but I can look at the path of what they did and how to transition to that retirement. So no matter where you go, no matter what you do, we are still here. We are still one Army family. We are still one Fort Hood family. 1st Medical Brigade, Silver Knights all the way, will never end, will never change for us. And so there's a lot of deep roots and appreciation for all that you do. And for that, I thank you not only for being a friend, being part of my life, but for what you've done for the Army, for the soldiers, and what everybody's going to be able to take from here and continue to move forward with it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll miss you.
Thank you. All right. Well, we still have our bearing about us. Let's publish the orders.
To all who shall see these presents, greeting. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress 20 July 1942, has awarded the Legion of Merit to Command Sergeant Major Jody L. Stanley, United States Army, for exceptionally meritorious service while serving in various positions of great responsibility during the period of 15 August 2019 to 31 May 2022, culminating as Command Sergeant Major, Womack Army Medical Center, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Command Sergeant Major Stanley's myriad of accomplishments are characterized by the absolute highest standards of leadership, professionalism, and dedication. She is a consummate Army non-commissioned officer whose leadership over the span of her career positively influenced the lives of countless individuals. Command Sergeant Major Stanley's exemplary performance of duty is in keeping with the highest traditions of military service, reflecting great credit upon her, the Army Medical Command, the Army Medical Department, and the United States Army. By order of the Secretary of the Army, this third day of February 2022, signed Raymond S. Dingle, Lieutenant General, U.S. Army, the Surgeon General and Commanding General, USA Medcom.
Thank you so much.
I will, thank you everyone, but I will defer my remarks to the change of responsibility, but thank you all so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Command Sergeant Major Stanley, and welcome Command Sergeant Major Cassandra H. Bouier. Today's ceremony is a reflection of procedures practiced since the birth of our Army in 1775. Unit colors still serve to mark the location of our organization's headquarters and its commander. When a unit's colors are removed from the headquarters, such as for today's ceremony, they remain under guard. This is more than tradition. It is solemn recognition and devotion to the sacrifice and gallantry of all who have ever served under those colors. The task of guarding unit colors is an honor given to only the finest of soldiers. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guests attending today's ceremony include Regional Health Command Atlantic Commander, Brigadier General Mary Krieger, and Regional Health Command Atlantic Command Sergeant Major Rebecca Booker, as well as fellow brigade and battalion commanders and command sergeants major. The reviewing officer for today's ceremony is the commander of Womack Army Medical Center, Colonel Christopher G. Jarvis. The commander of troops is Master Sergeant Nelson Rodriguez, NCOIC, Directorate of Logistics, Womack Army Medical Center. On behalf of the soldiers and families of Womack Army Medical Center, a small gift is being presented to Command Sergeant Major Bouier's fiance Michael, son Isaiah, her sister from another Mr. Sergeant Major Danielle Bridges, and of course her mother, Joy, as a token of appreciation from the soldiers and to welcome them to the Womack Army Medical Center command team. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the invocation delivered by Chaplain Tim Wan and the playing of the national anthem.
Let us pray. Almighty God, thank you for your presence today at this change of responsibility ceremony for Womack Army Medical Center. We thank you for choosing leaders with integrity who ably lead missions, especially during these challenging times, who motivate us in our work and ultimately exemplify care and caring for our staffs and patients. Thank you, O God, for giving Command Sergeant Major Stanley as our leader for past 2 years, through whom you reward excellence. Thank you for the impact she had on countless military personnel and civilians as she has modeled, mentored, and trained character, competence, and commitment both in and out of the uniform. We pray that you will go with her as she moves on to the next chapter of her life. We ask your blessings on all her future endeavors. We also humbly ask your blessings upon incoming leader, Command Sergeant Major Bouier. We be with her and her family as they prepare their new assignment here at Womack Army Medical Center, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Remain with her as she leads our organization to another heights of excellence. Give us the commitment to serve our new leader well. For all of us, thank you for your never-ending love, strength, courage, and guidance. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. The history of the non-commissioned officer dates as far back as the Roman legions. They were referred to as legionnaires and were responsible for the discipline and training of Roman soldiers. During the days of the Revolution, it was evident that the Continental Army lacked discipline and training. Baron von Steuben stressed this fact in his Regulations for the Order and Discipline of the Troops of the United States, referred to as the Blue Book. Von Steuben wrote, "The choice of non-commissioned officers is an object of greatest importance. The order and discipline of a regiment depends so much upon their behavior that too much care cannot be taken in preferring none to that trust, but those who by their merit and good conduct are entitled to it. Honesty, sobriety, and a remarkable attention to every point of duty, with neatness in their dress, are indispensable prerequisites. A spirit of command, respect, and obedience from the soldiers, and expertness in performing every part of the exercise, and ability to teach it are all absolutely necessary. Nor can a sergeant or corporal be said to be qualified who does not write and read in a tolerable manner." Through the years, the role of the non-commissioned officer has continued to evolve from the pre-revolution period to the role as it exists today. Our two basic responsibilities remain the same: accomplishment of the mission and the welfare of our soldiers. Enlisted soldiers who attain the distinction of being selected by the Department of the Army for participation in the Command Sergeant's Major program are the epitome of success in their chosen field in the profession of arms. There is no higher grade of rank, except that of Sergeant Major of the Army, for enlisted soldiers, and there is no greater honor. The Command Sergeant Major carries out policies and standards of performance, training, appearance, and conduct of enlisted personnel. The Command Sergeant Major advises and initiates recommendations to the commander and staff in matters pertaining to the local non-commissioned officer support channel. Perhaps slightly wiser and more experienced than the first sergeant, one expectation of the Command Sergeant Major is to function completely without supervision. Like the old sage of times past, the Command Sergeant's Major Council is expected to be calm, settled, and unequivocally accurate, but with an energy and enthusiasm that never wanes, even in the worst of times. Assignable to any billet in the Army, the Command Sergeant Major is all those things, and more, of each preceding grades of rank. The change of responsibility is a simple event that is rich with tradition, symbolism, and heritage. Key to the ceremony is the passing of the unit's colors. The custodian of the colors is the Command Sergeant Major, the senior enlisted soldier in the unit and the principal advisor to the commander. The passing of the colors symbolizes the transfer of responsibility from the outgoing Command Sergeant Major to the incoming Command Sergeant Major. The passing of the colors demonstrates to the soldiers of the unit the old Command Sergeant Major has passed the mantle of leadership to the new Command Sergeant Major, and with this, must also pass the loyalty of the soldiers to their new Command Sergeant Major. The Commander of Troops will pass the colors to Command Sergeant Major Stanley as her final duty as the Brigade Command Sergeant Major. The outgoing Command Sergeant Major then passes the colors to Colonel Jarvis, signifying her relinquishment of responsibility and completion of 30 months as the Command Sergeant Major of Womack Army Medical Center. Colonel Jarvis will then pass the colors to Command Sergeant Major Bouier, charging her with the responsibility for the unit as its new Command Sergeant Major. This time-honored process is completed when the incoming Command Sergeant Major passes the colors to the Commander of Troops. By authority of Army Regulations 600-20, paragraph 2-10, the undersigned assumes responsibility of Womack Army Medical Center, effective 11 February 2022, signed Cassandra H. Bouier, Command Sergeant Major, United States Army. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander of Womack Army Medical Center, Colonel Christopher G. Jarvis.
Hey, good morning, everyone. General Krieger, Command Sergeant Major Booker, fellow commanders, Command Sergeant Majors, leaders, first sergeants, company commanders, staff members, civilian leaders in the organization. Thank you all for being here this morning, especially to the families that are here present today. Coming in and supporting Sergeant Major Bouier with her mother, Miss Bailey, fiance Sergeant Major McBride. Again, online, Jose's here, in support of Sergeant Major Stanley, as well as her father. So again, thank you all for being here. Very much appreciate it. This is an important occasion. As I was meeting with Sergeant Major here over the last week or so, one of the things I recognized from her, and one of the things we talked about was, she wanted this ceremony, this whole week, really to be a little bit more relaxed. And even though it's an official event and an official ceremony, but to be a little bit more of a kind of a conversation, a thank you, a storytelling time. So hopefully my relaxed demeanor up here and some of the things I'm going to talk about are really just a tribute to Sergeant Major Stanley and how she approaches life. Again, there's probably a few events here this past week that she would rather not have had to have happen, in terms of recognition ceremonies, retirement ceremonies, all those things. But again, given credit where credit is due, we absolutely have to be able to do that. So kind of bear with me as we talk about this a little bit. I think the biggest thing is, Sergeant Major Stanley is a battle buddy. And for any of you who've been in the military, any small amount of time, that the commander and the senior enlisted advisor is really a close group. We go and do everything together. And I think the funniest thing that I got out of that, and it actually became a little bit of a game as we kind of worked through the last 18 months, was, when I would get an opening in my calendar, I'd kind of swing by the Sergeant Major's office. I'd just kind of stick my head in, and they'd either say hi, or she'd notice I was there, and she'd grab her hat or grab her her keys or whatever, and she'd be like, "Where are we going?" Right? Didn't matter what was going on. She knew that if I came and I kind of approached her like that, we were going to do something, and we're going to go do it together, because we're battle buddies. And I think that was important. It was an important symbol for the entire organization that we were a team and we were together in everything that we did. It could have been any sort of meeting, right? The WIG meetings, the wildly important goal meetings that we went to, she was there. Any sort of important meeting that we needed to have to look at, the strategic direction of the organization. She was there. Readiness meetings, with Rika, meetings with the Corps. It didn't really matter. She was always there and present, and that was important. And I think, when we, go to the hospital orientations, a couple times a month sometimes, we'd go down there and we'd stand there together and we'd kind of tell the story, give our guidance to the team about, welcome in there, but also, hey, this is kind of where the organization's going. And I remember lots of kind of, things as we would go through the building and talk to folks, and situations would come up of, hey, I got your back. And yeah, what he said, right, kind of stuff. So again, Battle Buddy was right there with me, and it was great to be, have you as a battle buddy there, Sergeant Major. And you arrived at a crucial time for WOMAC. I think most people can recognize 30 months ago, we were undergoing a lot of reorganization, a lot of restructuring all across not just WOMAC, but the Army and Army medicine, and how we were approaching the fight of the future. And so with that, there's a lot of friction. There's a lot of movement of personnel. We sent a lot of forces out to the operational force. And again, it was the right thing to do for the Army and Army medicine, and we're there to support it. But we had to react to it and figure out what the new normal looked like. And Sergeant Major was there, and she led us through that, especially from the enlisted side of how that affected the organization and how we had to adapt business, minus those personnel sometimes in some critical areas. So again, thank you for that. And I think you're kind of hearing the theme here of a lot of thanks, because it's well deserved. Certainly, hopefully you're kind of hearing a little bit about the creed of the non-commissioned officer, and she's the backbone. Certainly she very much represented that in coming in here. I came in, and I could rely on her for support. I could rely on her to help get the organization moving in a direction, give me some good background on certain things that were going on, and really support the officers that we have. Certainly this last summer we had a number of the deputies change over, and she was the NCO continuity that could give them lots of good advice and guidance on where we needed to go and what the background was to a certain decision that may have been made in the last couple of years while she was here. And it is incredibly important. The one thing I knew I could always count on her for is looking out for the welfare of the soldier. Anytime something would come to me with a routing slip on it for a decision, she would come in with the story. She'd come in and it wouldn't just be what was on paper, but also what she was able to discover, what she knew about that soldier, what the situation was. And it really helped me to make informed decisions about soldiers, and she would advocate for certain situations to take care of soldiers, even sometimes when others were not inclined to do that, for their own reasons, whatever was driving their recommendation. And I appreciated that. I appreciated that she didn't just follow in line with what everyone else ahead of her said all the time, and she had her own a piece of advice for the commander, and that was important. Next one, officers in the unit will maximize time and accomplish their duties. And I'll tell you what, I can honestly say she did that. She really took a lot off my shoulders that I could have managed. I use a line we do the hospital orientation of, I can solve any problem. I really can. It may not be the right solution. It may not be the best solution. It's most certainly not going to be an informed decision potentially when we make the solution. But if we push those issues down to the lowest level, then people can who are more informed, better placed to make those decisions and solve those problems can do that. And Sergeant Major was very much in a position to do that at all times. But what it allowed me to do is focus on some of the big things that I think the organization was able to accomplish over the last couple of years with starting 3 residencies, becoming a Section 717 site to be able to take civilian trauma, starting up a neurosurgical program. It's probably going to be starting this summer, moving towards level 2 trauma designation, and really the numerous partnerships that we have to build readiness across the force with UNC, Duke, Wake Med, Cape Fear, et cetera. I had 3 priorities when I came, and Sergeant Major internalized those and really used those as her direction as she moved around the organization and helped me to carry that message to everyone. And really the first one was dignity and respect. And kind of what I always advocated for was you have to treat people with dignity and respect, because if you don't do that, then everything else is at risk of failure, whether it's readiness or delivering healthcare. It doesn't really matter. If we're not treating people with dignity and respect, we're not going to get there. And and I remember being in my office on occasion, probably more than a few occasions, and having someone swing by the front desk, and they swing by and they see Vicki, and they start telling her their story. And Sergeant Major may be in her office, she may be just walking by, but I would hear this, and I heard this line routinely, and that was, "Vicki, I got this. Come with me into my office. How can I help you?" And that was her approach. Doesn't matter what the problem was. She'd get them in, she'd talk to them, figure out what the issue was, figure out what the right level of engagement was, and then get that person to the right person to solve the problem. And very, very, very rarely did it ever have to come back to me. And so I knew I could trust her to do that for the organization. And it was a great thing. She's a problem solver, a mediator in that regard. And I knew that she could do it. Some examples, again, I know, Regional Health Command Atlantic has heard some of this with the EMS system and our pay problems that we've had there. She was integral in working through those and continued to work those up until today. And that was incredibly important. EFMP with getting our folks transitioned so they can go overseas and be able to take care of their families and make sure they have the care. We had some challenges there, and she worked a lot of issues with that. We had some challenges in sterile processing in SPD. And again, she would go down there, get with the NCOs, get the lay of the land, figure out what the issue was, make sure we solved the problem and resourced it and got the solution put in place. The UCC, backup, during COVID testing. Again, lots of folks around, potentially COVID positive, and yet she would go down there, direct traffic, get people spaced out, and do all the right things to take care of people. And I remember that one day, last year when the chillers went out in the medical mall, and I know you got with Zach and the rest of the facilities team and solved that problem, got a temporary solution, and then made sure that the permanent solution was in place. So again, that's about taking care of people and treating them with dignity and respect, and no matter what the conditions are, and I appreciate that. Readiness, I remember when we first got in and we got our first set of ICTL numbers, and we knew that they weren't quite where they needed to be. And the statement from Sergeant Major was, "Sir, we got this. The NCOs can do this." And we got Sergeant Major Cologne and Tattoo, and then really it just spread across the entire team. And we built that program and really started getting after it, and then transitioned it to where it really, where we feel it really needs to be with Troop Battalion. But again, she took that. DECM, where we provide, delayed evacuation casualty management for the region and really for the Army. Paramedic course, same thing. We have a couple mystics here, and we work with the operational force to make sure that we're trained in readiness, we're getting people ready to go. Other simulators, Taylor Sandry, stepping up, running EFMB courses and the best medic competitions for the region. And again, just really trying to do things to get after readiness. And she was always at the forefront, making sure we had the right people, not just people, but the right people in those environments to make sure that the program was successful. And we were building readiness all across the force. One of the biggest impacts that I think most of us all recognize here was, and pretty much everybody in the room had a part to play in this one, and that was how we responded to COVID. And certainly, when the vaccinations started coming through the fall of 2020, we really got after it, and we led the way for the Army. And we're well over 180,000 vaccinations administered here at Fort Bragg, but that started with a simple plan that the team got together, and we started in the basement of Womack, where in the span of one day we could put through 15 to 1,700 people in the early stages of vaccination. We bridged that out into the parking lot. Again, she was part of that planning effort, and then ultimately we got it out to the fairgrounds, and that was a whole Bragg approach. But she was there, and every time there was a challenge out there, I knew she would be out there asking the questions, figuring out what the issues were, and developing solutions to make sure that we were able to generate readiness of the force by getting those vaccines out there. And again, very much appreciated that, Sergeant Major. Already talked about how you helped us move towards high reliability, specifically with SPD and work in process improvement projects all across the organization, and that was helpful. So again, I could sit here, and you know this well, Sergeant Major, I could sit here and I could talk for hours about all the goodness that you bring to the team and you brought to the organization and to Fort Bragg and Army Medicine. But unfortunately, I think everybody out in the audience, they want to get moving on. And I know Sergeant Major Bouier is, I think she would have been happy if this ceremony would have been 30 seconds long. Let's try to get through this here. But again, I want to welcome the new teammate. Welcome to Team Womack, to Sergeant Major Bouier. And again, she's coming with a wealth of experience. She really is. Again, she's coming here most recently from Varia and Europe, and that experience. Again, there's nothing going on there. I don't think anybody recognizes that there's anything going on in that part of the world. But she brings that experience to us. So I think soldiers from Fort Bragg and her kind of did this in the air. And so she fully recognizes the importance of the mission here at Fort Bragg. Not only that, but if you look at her right sleeve, you'll see she's got a combat patch from the 82nd as well. So she knows what it's about. But she's also got the bigger picture. She's been up in the Beltway. She worked at MedCom. She worked on the Joint Staff, and she knows what it's all about. In terms of the balance that we all have to strike between what our local needs are and what the nation requires, and everything in between. And so she's going to be a tremendous asset to the team, this organization, and really, just frankly, to Fort Bragg, because she brings a lot of wealth of experience there. And like I said, she's been to Iraq 3 times, and she knows what it's about to be downrange and getting shot at, and how you deliver health care in that environment, in the tactical field environment, and taking care of soldiers as we need. I know I've probably talked a little bit too long, sorry. But again, hopefully it's a little bit of a conversation. And I want to end it again a little off script, I guess, and how I'm going to do this. But again, there's a little bit of a thank you to Sergeant Major Stanley. But, again, I just want to say you are all the way. And you make Army Medicine Army Strong. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Command Sergeant Major Jody Stanley.
Good morning. Good morning, General Krieger, Sergeant Major Booker, thank you for being here. Friends, family, and soldiers, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be here today. Before I get started, shout out to the better half, Jose, and my dad, who couldn't be here today, but they are joining us Facebook Live. I am going to stick to this script because I am not a pretty crier, right? The allergies, man. So I know I only have 6 minutes. I read that somewhere. It's like 9:63, so you already blew that. So I can say what I want. This is my last ceremony. So I'm going to keep it to 2. Time start now, right? I'm so thankful and honored to have been given this opportunity to serve as the Command Sergeant Major for such an extraordinary organization. It's been a long 30 months, right, with a bunch of unique challenges. But overall, it's been a humbling yet rewarding experience. I personally thank all the Womack teammates, civilians and soldiers, for their constant dedication and commitment to the daily grind. No matter the mission, you always make it happen. I really appreciate the support that you have provided me, and I know that you will give that same support to Sergeant Major Bouier. To the soldiers, keep driving on, right? Embrace the change. There's a lot of change out there, especially within the AMED, so embrace that change. Remember what you're here for. Ensure that your soldiers are always ready. Continue to challenge yourself, and everything else will fall into place. To the team members within the command suite, thank you for making the job fun. I've really enjoyed working with every single one of you. A special thanks to the EAs, and a special thanks to my EA driver, Sergeant Whitworth and Sergeant Dvorsky, for always keeping me squared away and hyped up on Diet Cokes and cantaloupe, right? Weird combination. Last but certainly not least, Colonel Jarvis, you have been the best battle buddy that I could have asked for. You have taught me so much. I appreciate your mentorship and counsel. I will miss our office conversation time, maybe except for the ones that start with sir. You can't make this shit up. You're an amazing leader that has by far taken this organization to new heights in just a short time, right? I'm thankful for the time that I got to spend being your battle buddy and serving as the CSM for this extraordinary organization. Sergeant Major Bouier, you have an awesome team that will not fail you. I'm super excited to be passing the baton to you. And without a doubt, I know that you will take care of the team and soar to even greater heights. Thank you all again. Army medicine is Army strong.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Command Sergeant Major, Womack Army Medical Center. Command Sergeant Major Cassandra Bouier.
Okay, Brigadier General Krieger, Sergeant Major Booker, Colonel Jarvis, Sergeant Major Stanley, fellow leaders, teammates, family, and friends. I am honored for all your presence here today. Some of you I know have traveled hundreds of miles, while others and/or traveled hundreds of miles, but also have crazy hectic schedules, and even taking an hour out of your day is going to cause a backlog and some significant stress. So apologize for that, but thank you for being here today for us. It's important to me, and I know it's important to Sergeant Major Stanley. Chaplain Juan, thank you for the invocation. I personally know how powerful prayers are. If it hadn't been for my family and my friends sending numerous prayers up throughout the years, I know I wouldn't be here today. You know that little saying, you got to be young and dumb so you can be wise and old? Yeah, I lived up to that fully. And in that context, I'm probably one of the smartest people or wisest people in this room, but my fiance would probably be a close second. All right, Master Rodriguez. So I've had to put together a couple of change of command, change of responsibility ceremonies myself. I know that the work and the effort it takes to be able to coordinate this and to execute it, it's a lot of work. So well done and thank you. All right. I'm going to follow in suit with my commander, right? So I'm going to bust this 2-minute timeline as well. Sorry, Major Stanley. So the incoming person, though, they really don't have a lot to say, right? Because they're new, right? So, but what I will also say, though, is that any person coming into a position like this also knows that they didn't get here by themselves, right? So you've always had that right person at the right time in the right place who coached you, who trained you, who mentored you, who showed you tough love, who showed you compassion, who motivated, inspired you, right? You had those people, and I've had a lot of those people throughout my career. Now, what I don't have is enough time to be able to mention all of those people. So I really had to condense the list down, but please know that there's a lot more people that I should thank. But for my moments, or my minutes, what I would like to do is publicly thank those individuals. All right, and I have to start with my family. So my mom, Michael, and my son. I can't tell you how many times my mom, in support of Michael, completely stopped everything that she was doing, dropped everything, put her life on hold so that she would come and support me. So whether that was a year-long deployment, whether that was a 2-week training exercise, or whether it was just simply a promotion in support of me, she's always been there. Michael has always supported it. My son, my poor son. So he has seen numerous deployments and training exercises, PCSs. So let's talk about PCSs. So the last 5 years we were together, we PCS'd 4 times in that last 5 years, and another year of that I was actually deployed. So if there's anybody who understands change, it is that guy right there. And change is hard, right? He's constantly being flipped over every year. But man, you took it like a champ. So he's now in his 3rd year of college, full-time student, also has a job out there crushing life. So super proud of you. But Mom, Michael, Isaiah, Thank you. Thank you for all your love and your support over the years. All right. Ooh, I got through that. All right. All right. So then the second person I have to publicly thank is my fiance, Sergeant Major Michael McBride. So God knew what he was doing when he matched him and I, right? So you're the perfect amount of smart, funny, serious, bat crap crazy in order to put up with someone like me, right? So most of you probably don't know. So for 5 years, we've actually been stationed apart. And so the first 2.5, I was in DC, he was here, manageable, right? That's just a weekend drive, right? Manageable. But then the Army decided that I needed to go to Germany. Not so manageable with an entire ocean and 6-hour time difference, right? That was a little bit harder, but we did it. We did it. It was a little tough being over there all by myself and during COVID, but all of the Friday and Saturday night date nights, though I think you know, you'll never know how much that helped me get through that. So I'll just share with you. So every Friday, Saturday night, thank God for FaceTime, we had our Friday, Saturday night date nights, and I can count on one hand. And even he had 3 deployments in that time. How many times we did not have those? So thank you, Michael, for always making us a priority. You've been a pillar of strength for me. You are the constant reason for my smiles, and thank you for your love and support. Okay. Ooh, I got through that too. All right. Okay, so I am going to speed this up. There's only 2 more people in this audience, and one of them I didn't know was going to be here that's on this list. But I still have to say the list because they deserve an honorable mention, right? But my sister from another mister, thank you, San Martinez. I didn't know that was a saying. But my sister from another mister, Danielle, and then Sergeant Major Kortner, Sergeant Major Bridges, Sergeant Major Kortner would have had another sister from another mister, but I didn't know she was coming. But both of you make me a better me. Danielle, I look forward to our Saturday workouts. I look forward to crushing you in phase 10 and minute to win it games in the future. But Sergeant Major Kortner, unfortunately, she's leaving us and going to Hawaii. But thank you both. Thank you for your friendship. All right, so then the other names that I got right here, right? Major Brandy Gainsley, Brigadier Lodi, Brigadier Thompson, Sergeant Major Brunel, Colonel Retired Sassano, Mrs. Sarah Bannon, Mrs. Vicki Phillips, First Sergeant Tanya Wilson, Colonel Giroux, Colonel Lee Bryan and Tricia Bryan, love them. Colonel Mervyn Caratini, Retired Sergeant Major Janelle Ray, Sergeant Major Christy Kortner, Sergeant Jamal Cromer, First Sergeant T.N. Lombard, Miss Carla Wiggins, Lieutenant Colonel Rosser, and last but farthest from the least, Sergeant Major Diamondhop. All right, so again, many more people that's on that list, but I'm going to cut that list off right there. Sergeant Major Stanley. I know this has got to be a bitter, sweet moment for you. But what's that say? What's that song? Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. You're a phenomenal leader. You have grown phenomenal leaders. You've been extremely successful in your military career. Now 100% you're just going to carry that right on over to your next chapter. If you ever need anything, you have my number. I'm a call away. Until then, Godspeed. All right, Colonel Jarvis. Just from the few conversations that we've already had and from all the wonderful things that Sergeant Major Stanley has said about you, it makes me excited to get to be your senior enlisted advisor. And fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at that, I've already gotten to experience the quality care that the WOMAC team has to has to provide, and that makes me even more excited to be a part of the team. All right, so I look forward to serving our soldiers, their families, and the entire team. So with that, I am signing on. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song. Sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. we're the Army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the Army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the Army goes rolling along. And it's hi, hi, hey, the Army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. For where we go, you will always know that the Army goes rolling along.
Sir, this concludes the ceremony.
On behalf of the Commander and Command Sergeant Major of Womack Army Medical Center, we wish to thank you for your attendance at today's ceremony. Command Sergeant Major Stanley will receive friends and well-wishers in front of the reviewing stand. Please join the soldiers of the unit at a reception hosted by Command Sergeant Major Bouier and her fiancé located in the NCOA SAMC Hall, room 149. Thank you for joining us on this historic occasion. Army Medicine, Army Strong.